The first fight wasn't about love. It was about a spreadsheet and a coffee machine we didn't need, but somehow wanted to want. If you're here for managing finances in multicultural relationships, you already know money talks in accents learned long before we met. The question is whether we can learn to listen without losing each other. It was a rainy Saturday. Receipts curled like little question marks on the kitchen table. Your family came from the school of save first, celebrate later. Mine practiced give generously, life is short. We both made sense, and we both felt threatened. That's when we said what we always say on Whispered Hearts. English. Let's make the problem, not the person. We made tea and named the feeling under the purchase. You wanted reliability humming in the corner every morning. I wanted warmth shared with friends who dropped by. It turned out we were arguing about a machine while begging for safety and belonging. Money is a mirror that refuses to flatter until you face it. But there's something even quieter holding love together than any budget line. Culture writes early scripts about what counts as wise, generous, or wasteful. Some of us learned to measure success by how much we saved for elders. Others learned to measure by how many memories we made while the summer was still warm. Which script is your voice still reading from when a decision suddenly feels moral? Research shows that people inherit money rules at the dinner table long before they ever see a paycheck. Therapists report that couples calm down when they can name the rule beneath the reaction. No debt ever might really mean, my family once lost everything. Spend on people, not things, might mean, love is action, not storage. Which rule did your childhood whisper so loudly it still echoes? We started to notice the ways money wears culture like a jacket. In your world, gifts lean practical and steady. In mine, surprises carry the halo, even when small. Your savings account had a title that sounded like a promise. My envelopes had doodles and dates, because celebration needs a wrapper. Have you noticed how your cross-cultural money habits show up at the grocery store without asking permission? The curiosity that changed everything arrived like a clean breeze. What if money isn't just numbers? What if it's the way love keeps time? If you treat money as a scheduling tool for values, the map shifts. What would your spending look like if your calendar had to agree with it? We paused the coffee machine argument and built a values legend for the month. Safety, generosity, learning, rest. Then we matched dollars to those words like puzzle pieces on the fridge. We didn't try to be perfect. We tried to be honest. Where would your next $100 go if you had to label it with one value? Tools only work when they match the hands that use them. We tried a weekly money date with low lighting and no lectures. 10 minutes to look back, 10 to plan forward, and 5 to dream with a donut. The donut mattered. It told our bodies that this meeting was about building, not bracing. We chose accounts that felt like lanes on the same road. Yours, mine, and ours, each with a job, not a turf. The ours covered rent, groceries, and agreed upon rhythms like Friday takeout and Grandma's birthday. The yours and mine gave dignity to different speeds. Autonomy is not secrecy, it's air. Budgeting as a multicultural couple asks for translation, not uniformity. So we wrote category names we could both live inside. Family care held remittances and holiday gifts. Story fund held travel to see elders and bring our kids to their origins one day. Calm account covered emergencies, because panic is too expensive. Spring rain tapped the windows the night we tried our first receipt story. One by one, we picked a receipt and told the tiny tale behind it. The $18 bouquet from the corner market was for the neighbor who translated our delivery driver's joke. The $12 spent on a language app was for your dream of chatting with my aunt without me translating. Stories softened edges that numbers had sharpened. When tension spiked again, we switched from debate to diagnostics. We asked, which value is asking to be seen right now? Your answer was predictably steady. Security. Mine was predictably warm. Connection. We negotiated by adding a safety move to every connection spend and a connection move to every safety spend. If we saved more this week, we also cooked with friends. If we spent on a visit, we topped off the calm account. But there's one more curiosity that turns conflict into design. What if the month isn't a pass-fail test? What if it's a draft you revise together? We decided to end each month with 3 questions. What worked? What wore thin? What one small change would give us 80% of the peace we want? What would your one small change be this month? We also created money weather for busy weeks. Green meant casual decisions were fine. Yellow meant slow down. Check the calendar first. Red meant no decisions without a talk. It saved us from those impulse buys that sneak in when no one's looking. Which color would your week be right now? Culture shaped the way we treated windfalls and worries. In your house, a bonus went to the future. In mine, part of it went to a table full of laughter, even if it was just pizza and paper plates. We agreed to a blend that respected both, a percentage to the future we promised, and a small slice to the present we live in. We learned to schedule generosity so it didn't feel like surprise homework. On the first Sunday of each month, we picked one person to bless and one cause to back. Sometimes it was a neighbor between jobs. Sometimes it was a cultural center that taught kids to dance in 2 languages. Giving on purpose kept resentment from growing roots. Then came the night we almost broke the calendar in half. You wanted to send more homes this quarter. I wanted to enroll in a course that would lift my earning power next year. We argued in circles until the room felt small. That's when we remembered the repair steps that save us when money gets loud. First, safety. We said "we" out loud until our shoulders dropped. We share one future. Next, empathy. I repeated your worry about elders without a single "but." You reflected my fear of delaying growth and feeling stuck. Finally, action. We drafted a 2-step. Boost remittances now and schedule an income check-in in 60 days with my course on a wait list, not a wish list. Repair isn't poetry, it's practical hope. Our money dates grew better with paint and boundaries. We moved them to the porch when summer evening warmth made the air generous. Phones went screen down on the table. We used a timer so no one got trapped in spreadsheets while the other got lost in dreams. Structure saved tenderness from fatigue. We tried a budget walk in autumn, crunching leaves on the neighborhood path while we talked without screens. Naming numbers out loud under big sky made them feel less like verdicts and more like choices. We tucked a pen behind your ear and wrote the 3 headlines we needed on the back of a grocery receipt. Fresh air helps the math breathe. Tools kept showing up in small places. A shared note on our phones for pending purchases that had to sit for 48 hours. Emojis on the calendar for tone for complicated days. For yes to fun. For please be kind. We picked a low-friction app to track shared spending and put the login on the fridge. Transparency lowers the temperature of almost every argument. We framed goals like scenes from a life we could both taste. A down payment didn't stay abstract. It became the porch where our kids watch summer storms. Debt-free living became the December we travel home without checking price alerts at 2 a.m. When goals have textures, Sacrifices feel like steps, not punishments. Your side of the family loved cash gifts at holidays. Mine loved experiences they could retell at family dinners. We planned both. Red envelopes for Lunar New Year and a weekend picnic in the park for everyone's birthdays, even if it was paper crowns and a thermos of cocoa in January. Spending can be a love language that speaks multiple dialects. We also set rules for third-party voices. Friends can have opinions. Influencers can have strategies. We would hear them and then choose what fits our house. Our house is unique because our cultures are. We practiced saying, that works for them. What works for us? Midway through the year, the car died with a theatrical cough at a stoplight. We paid the tow truck and faced the replacement question side by side. Lease or buy? New or gently used? We named the values again and noticed how the order had shifted. Safety still led. Learning moved up because you wanted to understand the options. Connection stayed steady because we needed family visits to remain easy. Decisions felt slower and kinder when values took the wheel. Whispered hearts. English is the porch light for hard discussions like these. Not because we have magic numbers, but because we believe home is a place where two histories can plan without pretending they're the same. If you've ever felt ashamed for preferring safety or for choosing joy, you're not alone here. Which preference do you want to say out loud today, so it stops hiding as right or wrong? We turned tax season into a ritual instead of a panic. A pot of chili, a shared playlist, and breaks every 30 minutes to stand at the window and breathe. We thanked past us for tidy folders and cursed old us for the receipts we didn't label. Laughter kept us from taking ourselves so seriously that we missed how far we'd come. We made room for skill gaps without shame. I was better at tracking. You were better at negotiating. We swapped lessons like recipes. I taught you frameworks for spending. You taught me how to call the internet provider and ask for a better rate in a voice that made them find buttons they never press. Respect grows where differences get invited to work. Family obligations kept us honest and humble. We named them openly so resentment didn't mutate in the dark. We built a family circle budget line that flexed around seasons and needs. We shared updates with each other even when nothing changed, because silence used to read like secrecy in both our homes. Openness turned duty into dignity. When jealousy of someone else's lifestyle waved from a passing car, we waved back and kept walking. Comparison is a thief with good shoes. It moves fast. We slowed it by walking through our house, naming what we chose on purpose. The second-hand table we refinished. The shelf of photos in 2 languages. The mornings that tasted like coffee and calm. We practiced a no debt without a date rule. If we had to borrow, we put a date on the calendar labeled undo. It turned a foggy worry into a plan with teeth. Plans with teeth can chew through fear. Plans without teeth just smile while the interest piles up. Summer travel got a budget that loved both of us. We visited your parents and mine in alternating waves. We let cousins pile into our itinerary and also protected one quiet night per trip where we ordered food, watched a subtitled movie, and remembered that we are the family we go home with. Boundaries are budgets for energy. We created try before buy weeks for lifestyle upgrades. We borrowed an espresso machine from a friend and tracked how often we used it. We drove a small hybrid rental and wrote down what we missed and what we didn't. Experimentation saved us from expensive habits that weren't actually habits. Curiosity is cheaper than regret. When work changed and my income dipped, we sat on the stoop and told the truth. Fear was loud. Pride tried to micromanage the moment. We let them talk and then invited them to ride in the back seat while we drove. 2 immediate moves stabilized the car, froze nice-to-haves, and picked one small win we could control before bedtime. Agency likes to be fed early. We kept a small joy jar on the counter for coins and tiny bills. When the jar was full, we spent it on something unserious. A drive-in movie, a bakery box we shared with neighbors, a yard sale rug that made the living room look like a happy map. Joy budgets prove we're not machines, even while we act like grown-ups. For long-term trust, we stacked simple moves into muscle memory, automatic transfers on payday to the calm account, so emergencies stayed boring. Automatic contributions to a dreams account, so the future stayed real. Quarterly check-ins with a 1-page snapshot instead of a 20-tab spreadsheet that made us both feel small. We named money fares out loud so they would stop pretending to be preferences. You feared being a burden. I feared being controlled. Naming them turned them into neighbors we could greet and ignore. Have you named the fear that sometimes dresses up like an opinion and tries to run your house? We learned that apologies have prices and refunds. I spent without talking first. I'm sorry. Here's how I'm repairing it. A sellback, a deferral, a swap that keeps the month inside its rails. Love doesn't need a flawless partner. It needs a reliable teammate when things wobble. Our calendars started to look like a garden, not a battlefield. Rent was a tall perennial we didn't have to replant every month. Groceries were herbs we pinched and watched grow back. Giving was a wildflower patch that delighted visitors and us. Weeding happened on Fridays with music and no blame. We borrowed one habit from a friend we admired. Before any big purchase, we sat quietly and asked, "What feeling am I trying to buy?" If it was rest, maybe the purchase wasn't a gadget. Maybe it was an early bedtime and a boundary. If it was status, maybe the purchase was insecurity in a costume. The question saved us more than coupons ever did. We kept money conversations kind by keeping them short. Long fights made us forget our goal. Short plans made us remember. We wrote 2-sentence summaries so our future brains could thank us. We're saving for fall travel and pressing pause on new subscriptions. Review on the 1st, that was enough. Our friends started asking how we aligned without erasing our cultures. We told them the unglamorous truth. We drew a long table and saved a seat for each value we loved. We spoke to them in turn. We changed the seating chart sometimes. The table grew. So did our patience. On a cold night that smelled like snow, we finally bought that coffee machine after saving for it on purpose. We set it up together and made 2 cups we drank on the couch under a blanket that belonged to your grandmother. The coffee tasted like agreement, not victory. Agreement. Before we end, we'd love to hear from you. What's one money habit you've learned from your partner's culture that surprised you in a good way? Share it so someone else can try it without bumping into as many walls. Your story might be their shortcut to peace. We're grateful for the community we build here. Whispered Hearts. English isn't about being perfect at money. It's about being precise with care. If this gave you a way to talk tonight without bracing, we did our job. Tell us the first sentence you'll use so others can borrow it. As seasons turn, keep the rhythms that made you breathe easier. Spring reviews on the porch with light rain and gentle courage. Summer choices that feel like generosity without regret. Autumn walks where you audit the year with leaf crunch honesty. Winter nights where you protect warmth and let spreadsheets stay small. You will still have days that sting, You will still make purchases that looked better in the cart than in the house. But you have a way back now. Safety, empathy, one small action. Repeat. That loop strengthens faster than interest compounds. When you think about the money talks you feared, remember the house you're building. It has rooms for both your histories and windows that face the same street. It has a table where elders can sit without accusing, and children can learn that love can count without becoming cold. That house is the return on every quiet courage. As you stack one more month into the story, keep choosing language that fits your home. Calm account, story fund, family circle. Let your names carry your values, so you remember why you're doing this on days that feel ordinary. Ordinary days build empires of ease. If this brought you clarity, carry it into the next conversation with gentleness. Look at your partner like a teammate on the same side of the ledger. Breathe when the number isn't the one you wished for. Ask the better question. What is this money for? And who are we becoming while we choose? We're glad you're here, doing brave, grown-up love with soft hands. Whispered hearts. English will keep a light on for hard talks that deserve tenderness. If these words made room in your day, consider sharing them so another couple finds a way to plan without shame. And when the month closes and the porch light clicks off with that familiar little sigh, sit beside each other and count what can't be counted. The way you learn to listen, the way you learn to pause, the way you can now say you're managing finances in multicultural relationships with care that sounds like both your names.